Introduction. By raising our students' awareness of reading as a skill that requires active engagement, and by teaching explicable reading strategies, we help our students to develop good pronunciation, articulation, rhythm, fluency, and accuracy. Goals. Good pronunciation. Use of appropriate rhythm and stress to achieve well-paced, fluent reading. To build important literacy skills such as comprehension. Process. Select topics which are related to students' interests and experiences, or explore universal contemporary themes and issues. During reading, read with a purpose in mind and give complete attention to the reading task. Create visual images. Focus on unity and coherence, articulation, and good pronunciation. Identify with and develop an understanding of the character's story. After reading, reread important words when necessary. Paraphrase and summarize major ideas. Recognize how particular elements create moods or tones. Seek additional information from other sources as needed or desired.
Page 4. Volunteering at the animal shelter. Tom had nothing to do this summer. His mom told him that he could not just stay at home. He was also tired of staying at home, so he decided to volunteer. He thought about places he could volunteer: the library, the hospital, and the animal shelter. He finally settled on the animal shelter. He loved animals. He owned 2 cats, 3 fish, and a pet lizard. He went to the animal shelter to sign up. He filled out all the forms. 2 weeks later, he began to volunteer. He assisted people who wanted to adopt animals. Tom had a lot of fun. He was glad he volunteered. Page 5. A foreign accent. Ying moved to the U.S. when she was 15 years old. She was born in China and had a Chinese accent when she spoke. She didn't like her accent because it made her sound funny, and people sometimes couldn't understand what she said. Ying also knew that people made fun of her accent. Ying's history teacher made everyone go up in front of the class and recite a part of the Constitution of the United States. Ying didn't want to do it. She asked her teacher if she could record herself and send it to him. The teacher said no because that would be unfair to everyone else. Ying then said that it was unfair that everyone had an American accent. The teacher told her to take classes to get rid of her Chinese accent. Ying took her history teacher's advice and took a class on getting rid of the foreign accent. The class was filled with people like Ying. The teacher had Ying and the other students pronounce things. After a week, Ying didn't see an improvement. She decided to stop going to class and start loving her accent. She shouldn't have to change herself. People should like her the way she is. Page 7. Making a volcano. Science fair was coming up. Julio had to come up with a project. He was working by himself this year. He wanted the challenge of doing it all by himself. While searching the web, he came across the idea of building a volcano. He decided that a volcano would be the way to win the science fair. He asked his parents to take him to the grocery store to buy supplies to make the volcano. After working several hours on the volcano, he decided to test it out. He turned it on and watched the lava spew out. It was amazing. He was so proud of himself. The next day, he took his project to school for the science fair. Page 8. Doing chores for money. Jason is 12 years old. He wants to buy a video game. It costs $60. He does not have money. He cannot get a job. He is too young to get one. He tried selling his old things. He only made $1. He tried doing homework for people. He got caught. He tried taking online surveys. He ended up getting a computer virus. He tried selling his handmade toys. People thought they were ugly. He tried dancing on the streets. He only managed to get a few pennies. He entered a drawing competition. The prize was $100. He lost. He asked his parents if he could have some money. They said yes. There was a catch. He had to do chores. He said yes. His parents gave him $5 for every hour he worked. Page 10. Cell phone saves him. Herman was 23. He was at a party. He was drinking and having a good time. His friend told him to spend the night. You shouldn't drive tonight, his friend said. Herman agreed. He would spend the night, but he got into his car and left. He knew the highway, but he missed a curve. His car flew 400 feet in the air. It landed deep in the woods. It was completely hidden from view. Herman's friend called the police the next day. The police searched for 4 days. We were able to triangulate his position. His cell phone gave us a signal until the battery died, said a policeman. They found Herman. He was alive. He had eaten plants. He had drunk water from a stream. He had crawled to the nearby stream. A doctor said Herman would survive. He had only one major injury. Both legs were paralyzed. Page 12. Plane in the Hudson. The passenger plane landed a year ago. It was a famous landing. It was on TV and the radio. It was in the papers. The plane landed in the Hudson River in January. The pilot had no choice. Both engines were damaged. He couldn't go back to the airport. He couldn't land in New York City. He had to land in the river. The plane landed gently. It was a soft landing. The plane didn't flip over. It landed on its belly. No one died. Everyone survived. Everyone got out of the plane. They stood on the wings of the plane. Everyone was cold and wet. Boats rescued them all. It was the Miracle on the Hudson. Today, the same passengers got on 2 boats. The 2 boats went onto where the plane had landed. They stopped on that spot in the Hudson. Everyone hugged one another. Life was good. Page 14. Sean and the birthday cake. Sean likes food. He likes fruit and vegetables. He likes bread and cakes. He likes fish and dairy products. He likes meat. He eats everything. One day, he goes to a party. It is a party for his friend Leo. He enjoys the party with his friends. They dance and have fun. At the end of the night, Leo's mother comes with a cake. Everyone is very happy. They like sweet cakes. Sean is also happy. He likes food. Leo's mother slices the cake and gives every kid a piece of cake. Sean is the first one that gets a piece. At first, he is very happy, but after a few moments, he turns blue. He runs outside. When he returns, everybody is very surprised. His friend Leo asks, "Sean, is everything all right? You don't behave like yourself." Sean is surprised. "Why, Leo? Why do you say that?" "Well," Leo answers, "you usually love food very much. You don't run away from food." Sean smiles and says, "Yes, Leo, I love food, but that cake is not food." Page 16. Nicoles Drums. Nicole has a new set of drums. She likes playing the drums. She practices playing the drums all the time. Her parents tell her, "Nicole, we are happy that you like the drums, but you can't play the drums all the time. There are other people in the apartment. There are other people in the building. There are other people in the neighborhood. And they all want to sleep sometimes." Nicole listens to them. She says she understands, but she doesn't stop doing it. She practices playing the drums all the time. Her parents complain, her sister complains, the neighbors complain, even the cat complains. Okay, Nicole says. "I will be a good girl. I will do it more quietly." But this doesn't help much. No one can work, no one can rest, and no one can sleep. One day, Nicole comes home and sees her parents and her sister in the living room. She sees new things: a guitar, a trumpet, and a piano. Nicole is very surprised. "Wow," she says. "What is this?" Well, her father answers, "We see that we can't beat you, so we decided to join you." Page 18. The Frogs Race. One day, a group of frogs decided to make a race and get to the top of a high tower. A lot of people came to see them and give them their support, but the race had just begun and everybody was already saying that the frogs would not get there. It doesn't make any sense going on. You'll never reach the top of the tower. Little by little, the frogs felt disappointed and discouraged, except for one of them that continued to run. And everybody cried out, "Give up! You'll never get to the top." Listening repeatedly to these negative words led the frogs to abandon the race after all, except for the one frog that, despite what people were saying, and though alone and with great pain, continued to run and finally reached the top. Deeply astonished, the other frogs wanted to know how she had managed to do it. They came to her and asked her what her secret was. And it was then that they found out that she was deaf. Take a healthy life attitude. Never to listen to people who are negative in their intentions. Be deaf to discouraging words and always follow your dreams to the end. Page 20. Dazzling Brazil. Brazil is the place to visit for a much-awaited vacation. The largest country in the South American continent and fifth largest in the world. Brazil has a lot to offer tourists who are looking for an out-of-the-ordinary experience. The beaches of Rio de Janeiro and the annual Carnival attract thousands every year. Apart from this, Brazil is the best place for nature lovers, with the distinctive Amazon rainforest and its natural wonders. A land filled with picturesque mountains and hills, Brazil offers adventure and excitement all the year round. Going by bus is the best way to reach place in Brazil. In fact, it is the only efficient way of reaching your destination due to the lack of good train and car services. The bicycle is a common means of transport, taking you to places where a car or bus may not be able to. For moving around in the Amazon areas, the boat is the only way out and the most recommended means of transport. Page 22. Amanda's work. Amanda goes to work every day. She works in an office. She works very hard. She starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and finishes at 10 o'clock at night. She likes her work and she wants to be a good worker, but she has one problem. Her boss is not a very good boss. He tells her to do one thing, and then he changes his mind. He tells her to do another thing, and then he changes his mind again. He tells her to do something else, and again changes his mind. Amanda doesn't like this. She says, "This is a waste of time." Today, Amanda decides to talk with him. She goes to his room and says, "I like to work. I work a lot of hours. I am a good worker, but I can't work like this. We have to work better. You need to tell me what to do without changing your mind." Amanda's boss listens to her. He sees that she is right. He promises to listen to her advice. Now Amanda is happy. She comes to work every day. She starts at 7 o'clock and finishes at 4 o'clock, but she completes much more things than before. Amanda and her boss are happy. Page 24. Astronaut Sally Ride. When Sally Ride was just 9 years old, her family toured Europe for an entire year and then returned home to Encino, California. Once back at school, Sally wanted to be a winner in sports at school. In her teens, she was a champion junior tennis player. She was ranked number 18 among the best young tennis players in the country when she was 18. Sally always liked studying science. When she went to college, she studied astrophysics. Astrophysics is the science of stars and planets. She liked great literature too. She graduated from college with 2 degrees. The other degree was in English. She stayed longer in college and became Dr. Sally Ride. She was a specialist in astrophysics. Sally was interested in joining NASA as an astronaut. She was chosen as one of 6 women in the astronaut class in 1978. She studied at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. She learned how to fly military jets as part of her training. In 1982, Sally Ride was selected to go on the second Challenger spaceflight. She would be the first American woman to go into space. Sally Ride spent 6 days in space orbiting the Earth. Later, Sally Ride said, "The thing that I'll remember most about the flight is that it was fun. In fact, I'm sure it was the most fun that I will ever have in my life." Page 26. Do the laundry. He took the sheet off the mattress. He took the pillowcase off the pillow. He took the towel off the towel bar. He put the sheet, pillowcase, and towel into the plastic laundry basket. He put his socks into the basket. He put his pants and shirts into the basket. He put his underwear and pajamas into the basket. He put the container of laundry soap into the basket. He put some quarters into his pocket. He opened his apartment door and walked downstairs. He went into the laundry room. He poured some laundry soap into the bottom of the washer. He put his clothes into the washer. He closed the lid of the washer. He moved one dial on the washer to big load. He moved another dial to hot. He put 6 quarters into the coin slot. He pushed the coin slot in. The machine started filling with hot water. He went back upstairs. He watched TV for 35 minutes. Page 28. Paper. Paper has many uses. People draw on paper. People paint on paper. People write on paper. People clean with paper. People make boxes out of paper. People blow their noses on paper. Books are made of paper. Magazines are made of paper. Some money is printed on paper. Sandpaper is made of paper. Wallpaper is made of paper. Some paper is made from plants. Some paper is made from cotton. Some paper is made from bamboo. Some paper is made from wheat. Most paper is made from trees. 95% of paper is made from trees. Some paper is made from pine trees. Some paper is made from oak trees. Some paper is made from maple trees. Some paper is recycled. When paper is recycled, new paper is made from old paper. Some people say they work in paper-free offices. Some people think computers will take away the need for paper. But people will always need to blow their noses. People will always want to sand surfaces with sandpaper. People will want to paint or draw on paper. People will want to put things in paper boxes. So, people will probably need to use paper for many more years. Page 30. Pinocchio. There was once a poor old carpenter called Geppetto. One day, he began to carve a puppet out of a piece of wood. After he had carved the eyes and nose, he gave it a name, Pinocchio. When he had completed carving the puppet, it, to his astonishment, began to speak. "Teach me to walk," Pinocchio said. Geppetto taught him how to put one leg in front of the other. Then the puppet ran out of the door and down the street, shouting with joy. Geppetto chased him and called him to stop. But Pinocchio ran over to a crowd of people and began to cry pitifully. The people thought the old carpenter must have been cruel to poor Pinocchio, so they took the old man to the police station. Geppetto regretted having carved Pinocchio. Pinocchio thought no more of it, but went home and fell asleep in front of the fire. His feet began to burn in the flames, and when Geppetto returned and banged on the door, Pinocchio found that he could not get up because he had no feet. Geppetto forced open the door, and Pinocchio cried, "Make me a new pair of feet, and I shall be a good son. I shall go to school and learn a trade and look after you." Geppetto made him a new pair of feet because of his fatherly love for Pinocchio. But he was not sure if Pinocchio would keep his promises. Page 32. Worm in my pocket. One rainy day, on my way home from school, I found a big worm and thought it was cool. I picked up the worm with my bare hand, held it up high thinking how grand. The worm was so cute and wiggled a lot. I put him in my pocket to show Mom what I'd caught. What will she say when I show her my find? Will she let me keep it? I hope she won't mind. Mom was in the kitchen when I told her what I'd found. She screamed, "No way! Put it back on the ground." Now I'm so angry. She always says no. If she won't let me keep it, then I will just go. So me and my worm packed a sandwich for two, ran out the door, and down the street we both flew. We walked to the park and sat on a bench. I pulled out my worm and noticed a stench. He looked kind of floppy, but wiggled a bit. I thought, oh my gosh, my worm is not fit. I laid him in the dirt and let him go free. I guess that my pocket was not the best place to be.